Hey, so how's it going? Dark Riddle. It's good to have you on the show.
Good, man. Good to be here, bro. From Chicago to Romania. So yeah, good deal. Nova Galina. Everything is fine out here. So you, my friend, were in graffiti in Chicago for I would say what 2 or 3 decades, or how's that work?
For almost 3 decades. Yeah, about 28 years. About 28 years I've been doing graffiti.
All right. So what crew did you start out with, bro?
TDM crew.
Yeah, but you always I mean when you first started busting tags and
Yeah,
graffiti, TDM was the first crew you joined.
no, so this is pretty funny because that I'm telling you this. My friends and I'm sure you know who Double is from Air Crew, Phobe
Yeah.
from Air Crew, um, and One, and a couple other like older graffiti artists. We tried to start a crew called BTR, Bombing the Rails, back in about
BTR.
nine
Yeah.
BTR, yeah. So we started painting Bombing the Rails, and that's when I met Chaos and a couple other BTB brothers. And the boys were like, "Hey, man, you can't write BTR, man. It's too close to BTB." And instead of making beef about it, we decided to say, you know what, they're right, and we dropped BTR. We killed it, and they went Air Crew, and I ended up going TDM. The rest of the
Yeah.
BTR guys went Air, and I went TDM.
Yeah. TDM. We would the old school brothers, for the center circle BTB, but we call TDNC. We always bring the whole abbreviation, the Deathman crew. But like we were familiar because we were out there in the ghetto and Whipple and Cermak and chilling out with Pleasure, this guy Jaime,
Yeah,
and
no pleasure. We talked
and
about that before.
bro,
Yeah, yeah.
and his partner crew. So they used to run with us in a lot of ghetto missions, bro. And like I would probably even say that it goes far back because it was probably like man, dude, I'm talking maybe 83 or 80 or 80. I remember they were helping me do this illegal piece there was a FILA crew at that time. And
Yeah.
because I was doing this illegal piece behind China Snack out there. And so I was doing something, and then I believe Crush from God's Crew gave me a character. He wanted to do a character he started, but he didn't show up. So I did his character, and then I did my character, and I did a FILA in 1985. But right around the Whipple right there was where this brother Cruel and Jaime, bro, Pleasure, from TDMC. Um, they were chilling out with us. They were hanging out. There was a guys that used to sell acid, bro, black, a purple microdot, and a black triangles, bro. They right behind that building. And so me and Sowski and everybody, we were burning it up and stuff. These guys were looking out for me, man, on that piece on
Sowski.
Whipple Cermak.
Haven't heard about Sowski in years, man. That's
Yeah,
old
yeah,
Sowski. Well, see, the original TDMs, that's basically how TDM, my era started. So it basically came through Roski. So Chiba is Roski's nephew,
yeah,
right? And so
yeah. I mean,
Chiba and the
I
boys
also
were, yeah.
names his brother.
Yeah,
Name his
named it
brother.
no. Yeah, name is Chiba's uncle as well. So
Oh
name
yeah,
FCA name, yeah. So yeah, so at the time, they were looking for a crew to start, and Roski and some of the old TDMs are like, dude, just bring back TDM, the original TDM, bring it back. So that's when we all started TDM back in the mid '90s. We brought back the original TDM from the '80s, and it was because of
yeah.
Roski.
One thing about TDMC, bro. At least like we made this kind of distinction about TDMC early. Like when there's a lot of crews, bro. Like you see crews in Chicago that are kind of indigenous or indicative to certain areas, like BTB's, Southwest, or the Feds were North Side and all this and that. But the thing is that TDMC was kind of weird. I'm talking about the early days because TDMC was all over Chicago, bro. There were heads. There
That
were
was
TV. Yeah,
that
they
was
were
a
like they were.
concept from the beginning. That was a concept from the beginning. So like that was given to us and we kept that going. So when we started TDM back in 96, 97, 98, when we were building, the biggest point of basically growing the crew was to get out of certain areas and to branch out. So I was the president head of Pilsen TDM, and then D-Tech and TK ran 35th Street, like they ran Brighton Park. And then Smurf and Boar, they ran the Western Council. And then you had a little village council, Chiba, and who else? I think it was I forgot who else, but Chiba ran Cicero with another person. So we had different chapters, and we were organized through our chapters where we had like heads, and then only the heads spoke to each other. So anytime there was a meeting or anything going on in different branches for specific situations, I would call Chiba, or I would call TK, or I would call Smurf or Boar. So we branched out and we had our own lines. So Brighton Park, they were responsible for the orange line. Pilsen, my crew, we were responsible for the blue line and the red line. The Westerns were responsible for whatever they were. You know what I'm saying? We were branched out, and we had sectors, like sectors of fire. So like we had sections of area where we were responsible for bombing. For every branch had a sector or area we were responsible for bombing. So we kept that going.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing that has to do like what you're talking about right there was when crews had structure, bro. It's what a lot of motherfuckers. Oh, excuse me. Did I swear? I
Yeah,
swear. I
it's
swear.
all good, man.
That's what they. That's what they say. That's what they say
No,
when
you can still censor yourself.
you swear. They say you swear it out. You can swear it out now. Um,
Yeah.
I don't think we have to square things out. But the thing is, pardon my French when I say this, that crews had structure, bro. Because a lot of new crews don't have structures. So when I say structures, like like BTB had all that stuff. Like they had like we had the enforcer and the underboss and all that stuff. It's kind of like a mafia kind of thing with the crew, because at one time the crew got real big. But what happened is that those crews like TDMC and all that, when you look at those crews that are older, what happens is that they take those type of structures and form so that you can, like you just said it yourself. You said, oh well, they do this and they're on 35th or they're there. You see, that's what I'm talking about. So nowadays they don't do that. It's just kind of like they're in like a bake sale club or something.
They're just out bombing and not really. So I mean, listen, I told you this before. I don't. There wouldn't have been a TDM without BTB. So the structure that we had, we learned from old school BTB heads and old school TDMs from Little Village, right? So the structure that we had came from BTB. So like I told you that before, there would not be a TDM without BTB, and I own that, and I'll always say that. But that being said, like the structure that existed at the time, we had requirements. If I had 7 to 15 bombers under me, they had to report to me every month with, 7 fill-ins, 2 spell-outs. You know what I'm saying? I needed flicks. And then every month when we had our big crew meeting, wherever we have a meeting at, we get together in the back of the yard or wherever we have a meeting. Hey, I need the flicks. Show them to the big man. We're good to go. You're good. And then someone's missing the requirements. It's always the same excuse. Well, I ain't got money for paint. So then we had a deal where we were pitching in money so that we would have like a paint jar where if cats didn't want to get caught stealing paint all the time, because that's what we were doing, racking paint from Home Depot, from on Cicero, but we would have a jar full of money for cats that couldn't afford paint. It is what it is. You can't expect a kid to go out and steal every day for paint that need requirements. So we were taking care of each other, making sure that we had paint, making sure that we had Griffin, Mean Streaks, caps. If I had extra paint, I knew my boys hurting in that paint. I call him and take him out bombing with me, so he got his requirements done that month. I mean, that's literally how it was on a daily basis. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, there's this kind of similarity with the old school crews. I'm going to give you an example. Like you just mentioned something about the paint and getting in buying some of the paint. But when the BTB, what we would do is we get locked up, and because we try to get each other bailed out before the weekend, because sometimes in the holiday court they skip your you go to the county, you're supposed to get out 2 days later. But if you go on a weekend, they sometimes they skip you on what they used to call holiday court, and then you end up a month in there, bro. So what happens is we try to get each other out of jail real quick. We had some of the girls that we were with, because there was BTB and then BTB posse, and we used to take care of like these street girls that used to hang with us. And sometimes when we get locked up in a can, they would get the money together and bond us out. This has to do a lot with us being in the streets and not really having our parents didn't give a shit about us, bro. We're just out in the street at that. Because I'm talking about times where we're like 16 to 21, and we're doing that. So we're just looking out for each other, just like a gang would, bro. This is the reason why we have a pretty good understanding of why Chicago gangs are the way they are. Now, not to saying that Chicago gangs are starting to be looked up to, because they're not. But one of the things that they have is we understand, the pressures the ghetto puts on them. And, they don't have a family structure like we didn't have a fucking family structure. So we kind of relied on each other. And those things are like bailing each other out of jail and all this other stuff, And here's the thing. I want to ask you a question, but I wonder if you're going to, I wonder if you would answer me honestly, bro. Because a lot of people don't. I'm not a kind of guy that beats around the bush about a lot of bullshit, bro. But like one of the things that bothers me, bro, I had this conversation, bro, because I talked to some guys from TPA from New York, the public animals, man. Once in a great while we talk. I probably talk to this guy about once every 2 months or whatever. But he brought to me a really good topic, bro, that I felt really similar to him. And it was about this thing about legends and people like in Chicago or other cities, not New York, where they say, hey, well, you know what, this guy's a legend or a legend that. And I'm like, I never liked that shit, bro. I never liked it because I think it's bullshit. So I want to make myself clear about this. Like when I talk to these guys from New York, I could understand the view that they're getting at. Because if you look at like Tracy or Scene or Scheme or these guys like that, like they were innovators of the very foundation of the graffiti structure, bro. Like they were not even styles. They were outlining tags and making the styles, and they were all contemporaries of each other. So they were innovating. They were building on not a foundation. They were building the foundation themselves. So like those guys from New York, and I'm talking only the old school guys from New York, are the real legends. So when you go to Chicago or Atlanta or Miami or wherever, man, and then you see people that have been in the game for a while and they go, oh, well, this guy's a legend or that guy's a legend. Listen, bro, I don't go for that. I kind of agree with like the old school New Yorkers, because these guys from Chicago, don't get me wrong, they just what they are trendsetters. That's what they are. Like Fess, Fess and Trickster and Pango and all that, a lot of writers, bro, just a lot of them. Sick Nick. All these guys are truly trendsetters in Chicago. They set up, some of the ideologues of what graffiti artists were going to kind of follow in the structure of Chicago. But that's what they are. They're trendsetters, and they should be recognized for it. But I don't believe there's any legends other than the original New Yorkers. The original New Yorkers that made that. I don't think they should be called in.
So what's your question? Are you asking me my opinion on what I think about?
I'm asking you because you're a person that came in. You seen the first wave, but you didn't get in the first wave. You came in later. So what I'm asking you is, do you think what I'm saying about that is too hard or too harsh to say?
No.
Or how do you feel about that?
You're right. You're absolutely right to a certain extent. The reason I say that is because when I think of graffiti legends, because I'm from Chicago, I automatically resort to the graffiti artist I looked up to in the 80s and the 90s, right? And
Right.
So obviously, had I never seen on a VHS tape, I probably wouldn't have known who Scene was. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If I didn't get a magazine in a store, I wouldn't have known who Scene was. But I knew who Temper was. You know what I'm saying? And to me, Temper was a legend. Every day I would ride the line to see Temper. I'm like, man, he would hit spots that I would only dream of hitting. Where I would stay up at night wondering how we got up in that spot, how we got up in that rooftop. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. That's how I look at legends. The guys that, first of all, if I seen someone hit a spot, like the very first time I seen someone hit the top of the silos, I was blown away, right? I was blown away. But I seen A1Ps having A1Ps on the very top of the silos when I was younger. I was like, damn, Like to me, that was legendary status. That shit was overlooking the city. That's kind of how I looked at it in a way. You know what I'm saying? So when
Yeah.
I and you mentioned Pango and the same thing, and I think of the same thing when it comes to like Comf from BTB. I think he's one of the he's in my top 10. Comf, like to me, when I see his styles, when I see, you know what I'm saying, I like to mix match like who's biting who. I do that all the time, and I've always done that. Like, man, I've seen that style somewhere else. Some people get some a little bit influence from this person, that person, but then you see something that no one else has ever done. You see a style that I'm like, oh shit, I've never seen that done before. You know what I'm saying? And you know that they set that trend, like you said, like Pingo, for example, he
Yeah.
did that, and so that's how I kind of like basically can justify saying, well, this person's a legend, this person's a trendsetter. And so I don't naturally go to New York. I specifically stayed in Chicago because a Chicago graffiti artist is who I grew up idolizing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
And it has to do with
always
perspective, bro.
PC5 was like someone I idolized too when I was younger. It's fucking just dope. Even Cure from Air Crew. Cure was like, I looked up to Cure, even though like I went to war with them, but I looked up to him as an artist.
Yeah. I mean, look at, bro. What I'm trying to say is like, I could have maybe I reframed the question differently because like when I talk to guys from New York that are old school New York and they have a bit of an issue about people being called legend, it's if you look at somebody like T Kid or somebody like that, and hypothetically, if they were to say that they had a bit of an issue about people from Chicago or Atlanta or Miami calling themselves legends, then I could see where they're coming from. That's what I'm saying. Because
I mean,
like
do
everybody
you
that
have,
we talked about,
yeah,
both of us talked about, we're an extension of what they created. So
yeah. But
they weren't the bricks of the house. They were just
But
moving in.
Riddle,
What the house was
so
built.
are you positive? Are you positive? I mean, you're 10 years older than me. So are you positive that New York started graffiti
No, no, no,
before
no.
Chicago did?
Look at I'm gonna really honest about the situation. There's two types. There's graffiti in general. See, this is where people get confused. Look at, bro, Chicago on the southwest side, and I said this before, bro. You could see this in Pilsen and Aviita right away. Chicago was actually influenced by Los Istos graffiti, the graffiti from lowrider magazines and Los Cholos and Pinche Pachucos también, all that, right? Before, long before, 10 years before or more, than the New York style graffiti. But what I'm talking about here is New York style graffiti. What I'm talking about is graffiti as the world sees it, hip hop graffiti. So here's the thing. So what I'm trying to get at, so that people could understand my understanding of how they think, because I agree with New York about this. This is one thing I really agree with them, is that listen, like I said before, they're the bricks that built the house. All these other cities, including Chicago, we just moved into that house once it was already built. New York writers, all these brothers from the first wave to the last of their golden age built it. They're the true legends. I don't consider anybody in graffiti legends other than them. Not even other New Yorkers after them. But I do give a lot of credit to people who were original and trend setting. Like when I talked about Salsky, who was a wild style king over here, and I just mentioned Pango, there was Curly and Warp and Spike from the Southland. Look at all these guys were trendsetters, bro. They were trendsetters and very, very, very important to graffiti history in Chicago because of their influence. Like Orko, rest in peace. A lot of people, they may have not known Orko. I only met Orko twice, bro, when I was really young. We're both, because we're contemporaries, we're basically the same age. So we were in the graffiti game at the same time. And what happened was that I could see the influence that Orko put in Chicago, bro. Like when he was doing all these pieces at the walls of style and whatever was being showcased at the Hall of Fame, the Chinatown Hall of Fame, and other walls. And there's also another street credit thing where, listen, bro, I mean, I don't mean to pick on people about this, bro, because I got to be careful now because a lot of writers today, they're fucking sensitive, bro. As soon as I mention something, it's like, damn, dude, what the fuck?
That's the way it is. That's the new
You're
era.
sensitive, bro. Like when I say that, like listen, bro, Trickster, Flash, Roski, Trace, whatever, Crush, whatever. Listen, bro, these writers like Pest and Skid, we're all doing illegal shit, bro. We all got busted by Handgun, fucking King, all these guys. Listen, bro. And in the world today, when you look at it, you got all these guys that like 90% of their work. Like, fuck, man. I won't even do it. I'm even gonna start. I don't want somebody to start crying on my ass.
I want to
But
bring
like
something
in
up though.
office, like permission, they don't. It's hard for them to develop street credit if they're just doing permission. Like the writers I mentioned, we were out there in the street. We paid the time. I was locked up with Dare. I was locked up with a bunch of different writers. Listen, bro. Nowadays, these people don't have these experiences, and I'm not picking on them, bro. I'm not picking on them. But what
No,
I'm
I get
trying to
it.
say is that listen, there, that's part of getting respect is a street credit.
So you talked about yesterday, and I really wanted to mention this on your podcast. But what do I think about piecers who do permission walls compared to the bombers? And do I feel like bombers get the credit that they deserve? And how do I feel in terms of piecers basically getting the shine to a certain extent where they're able to get their art in museums, they're able to sell art, online because they're doing a lot of canvas work inside their garage or whatever. Or your bomber, your everyday bombers, what I'm saying, packing up and grinding on the street every night, getting his name up in the highest spots, the dopest spots. And that same bomber who's got his name all over the city is not getting the same recognition and the same love as a professional graffiti artist who's mostly just paints on permission walls and goes to museums and sells his art, things like that. So
Yeah,
I know
I
how
mean,
you feel about it, but I'll tell you,
look, it's like you said. First of all, professional graffiti artists. That word "professional" shouldn't be in your graffiti world. If you want to be
but
professional,
it
go
is,
be a fucking commercial artist, bro.
but it
Stop
is,
fucking around, bro.
it is a thing. I've heard
To
it a
me,
million times.
look it. They shit all over bombers, bro. They have these fucking graffiti galleries and shit. They're fucking, fucking having tea, having brunch, throwing the fucking graffiti galleries, and talking all this shit up the good old days. Well, that's when I used to be an outlaw and shit. This and that, whatever. And and then they don't even have one corner where they show motherfuckers bombing like Cyrac or fucking Konami or Arc or fucking Easy Epoch One, Coke Hale,
Yeah,
H Rock, Hate, rest in peace. Nothing, bro. And
no,
then
I
they're saying,
know.
"Oh yeah, we're gonna give you the real graffiti experience." The
That's
fuck you
how
talking
that's
about?
how I felt. That's how I felt growing up because I wasn't into piecing. I was a bomber. I got a high out of going out every night, walking the tracks, climbing on buildings. You know what I'm saying? I got a
Yeah,
high out of that. I got adrenaline out of it. I enjoyed it. I didn't get the same feeling of just standing in front of a wall in the middle of the day with my friends just painting peacefully. It wasn't the same type of thing for me. And that wasn't an addiction. The addiction was the high, the adrenaline rush of doing graffiti illegally. And so I grew up with that mentality. And so I never considered myself a graffiti artist. I considered myself a bomber, right? And I always had. That being said, I always had a certain feeling towards if I was with a group, say like me and 15 TDMs go to a party and I'm there with like half the graffiti cats in the party are piecers, I didn't have the same conversation with those guys that I would with another bomber. We're just two different people completely. That's
yeah.
how I felt.
It's almost as if the graffiti world is split into two divisions that way, where you got your bombers and you got your pieces. But in reality, what really fucked up the game was people depending. I mean, it's cool to do permission walls, but motherfuckers are overwhelmingly dependent on permission walls. And when people start doing permission walls, what happened is it made it split. Because listen, bro, like of me, like back in the days, when Oreo and all these motherfuckers that were funking all this shit were bombing the Douglas Blue and doing outlines and so forth. That was the days where East and Agent were doing little rooftops over here in the South. And like so Fess, Frizari, when he was writing Frizari and shit, doing the Vidox Frizari with the spaghetti letters, and he he had original style too, Fez, bro. But people tend to think that this motherfucker was just doing commercial shit that was not illegal. Fez did a lot of illegal shit, bro, because we and Ronsky and Sowski and Menace, we were just jumping rooftops and we would see Fez doing, like, he liked to do walls right by the line, illegal walls by Polk and Western in California. And I
Those are my
used to do
spots,
walls around
bro.
there too.
Those are my 90s spots you just named. I never
Yeah,
not had my name on Polk, Western, 18th, California. I never not had my name up in those spots.
yeah.
That's
I
good
mean,
stuff.
hey, those were good highlights for fucking people like Fink and Oreo. A lot of people don't talk about these guys, like Funk Crew and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, they were heavy hitters out there, bro, on illegal shit. So listen, bro, I'm gonna tell you something. A lot of people don't want to fucking go and admit, but it's the fucking truth, bro. So the thing is that you're looking at the end of the 80s and 1988, 1989, and then between 91 and 94, when around that time, people started overly dependent on permission walls, bro. You know, they're, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Man, fuck you, bro. You know what they're
No,
talking
I
about.
remember.
You know,
I
they
remember. I know
basically
all
they
about it.
stopped doing illegal shit.
No, I know all about it. I watched the transition. I watched it happening. It was my era that was happening, and I was a bomber, and I had half my crew that were constantly like, "Yo, I got a wall. We got a permission wall on Cermak," and I was like, "Dude, we're going bombing tonight." You know what I'm saying? I'm
I
gonna
mean,
save my
I'm
paint.
guilty of that shit
So I
myself.
get it. I watched the transition. It didn't bother me. It was just I understood the difference. You know what I'm saying? And I surrounded myself around bombers. It's not that I felt uncomfortable around piecers. We just didn't speak the same language when it came to graffiti. But at the same time, when that permission wall thing became such a big trend, bombers started losing a lot of like attention. You know what I'm saying? It became a thing where bombers were in. So like like for example, I've been in 3 wars, right? How do our wars end? We go to the walls of grace or we go to the walls of styles and we piece it out. That's how we end wars.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
it was subjective, you know. Like
Yeah,
when
that's how we end
World War
wars.
Chapter 13 was a subjective war. So like when I like way back in the days, we had a battle, piecing battle, and a bombing battle, but you know, ACW Chapter 13, you know, and you know, we got together at a funeral home and we met with, you know, Greek and Dare and Casper and them. And what happened is that we had our subjective, you know, ideas about how this was going to happen. So we went out and we started bombing. So we had a bombing war, and then we went out. So we were flipping each other is what we are doing.
Yeah, which is
And
the
then we
thing.
had
I
a
mean,
peace
yeah.
war.
Well, yeah, for people who are not into our world, yeah, a war is like we flip each other's names or we flip each other's crews. But that being said, like TDM, I'm not going to mention the crews we went to war because I don't want to start no beef online, but we were killing, man. We were destroying. I mean, bombing wise, we were killing. There was no reason to have a peace battle to call the war. We already destroyed them on the streets, but we still did it. And I didn't understand why the fuck we were doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are we peace battling? Because the crew that we were bombing, guess what? Most of their crew members were better piecers than they were bombers. Most of their crew members rather piece than bomb. So we had more bombers and they had more piecers. So they had the advantage in terms of a peace battle than actual straight out all out war 1-on-1 on the streets bombing. We had the advantage because we had more soldiers who were bombers. They had the advantage in the piecing sector because they were more seasoned and they had older guys that could piece better than us. So that to me that wasn't fair. I'm like, are we at war or we're having an art contest? That's how I felt. I mean, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know, I'm going to tell you something. This is a big problem in Chicago, especially. Listen, bro, like, first of all, you got to have a reason for a war, and then it's going to be resolved. Like you know, I'll give you an example of two real. We had a battle with CMK because CMK is basically like our kids. To be honest with you, they're birthed out of us, bro. Because like all these guys from Pilsen are hardcore motherfuckers, bro. Like you ever look at Anger?
I'm from Pilsen, bro. I know all the Pilsen cats.
Yeah,
I'm from 17th
like
Wood,
you know,
dude.
like Noam, Anger, you know, fucking Chase. They'll bust your fucking head, bro. If you talk bad, you say the wrong things to them, they crack you the fucking head. So here's the thing. So they're very much like BTB. Well, be honest with you, look at BTB tempers we temper our members, bro. We don't want motherfuckers to be hard. I'm gonna bring up another subject about why we do this shit. So we basically bust their balls a lot, bro. And so like John Ski and Noam and them, I think they didn't appreciate that, and they're right about it because we're a little fucking psycho.
Noam is dope, man.
So the thing is, John Ski's a bad man. He's one of my favorite writers,
He's
bro.
a bad motherfucker too, man.
He is one of my favorite artists in the world, not only writers. But here's the thing. Well, John Ski, Noam, and all them, we had a battle with CMK. And actually, I think they burned us, bro. Which is cool.
I remember this. I remember this. I remember this battle.
I think that was in 94 or 95. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. It came out good because, we got it resolved. We got our issues resolved. So in other words, they went and they did a piece and we did a piece. And, it was real black and white, there was no confusion shit. It was great. It was no problem. I'm friends with them now. They're some of my most beloved, most valued writers now. Johnsky and Noam especially, but also Chase and Chase. Is a really fucking stand-up guys. So they're dear to our heart because they're the kind of guys where they don't take shit for nobody, bro. And that's how BTB likes our matter of fact, we still consider it BTB. But the thing is, I'm gonna bring something up, bro. So when I bring it up, so other shit, when you see writers, they do this pussy shit, bro. They go, oh, we're gonna have a battle, and so what happens? A lot of times, they have a lot of graffiti darlings, bro. I swear to you, bro, I'm not even fucking playing with you, bro. I've seen about 3 battles, legitly, bro, where you can clearly see that one crew beat the other crew. You could tell by the structure, the wild style, the neatness of the painting, how fast it was done, the characters. And guess what? The other crew, they go, oh, we're going to judge by the crowd. So you know what the problem with that is? The crowd is like, oh, I'm going to vote for my fucking darlings,
I've seen that.
When we peace battle these theories, and so you can't have a fair battle. They make it a high school popularity contest.
Yeah, when we peace battled NMU, we didn't want that. So that was going to be one of the things where we are going to have a crowd that come watch us peace battle NMU, and we were like, well, the crowd ain't going to work. You know what I'm saying? So we ended up getting Ruben AWOL was the judge. So we ended up getting AWOL to judge it for us. So we wanted one judge, man.
He was DCU BTB at one point. I don't know.
Yeah.
You're talking about AWOL that was DC5?
Yeah, DC5 AWOL.
All right, yeah, that's the same guy.
Let me tell you something you may not know, dude, what you're talking about, BTB and the way it was. But a lot of people don't know this, but at one point, TDM had a bishop in the crew, a 2-6 in the crew, a disciple in the crew, all at the same time, and a count. Rex was a count. We had a disciple, a bishop, a 2-6, and a disciple, and a count in TDM at the same exact time. Because we were branches, because we were in different branches and we had different gangs in our branch, and we allowed gang members to join the crew that knew how to do graffiti. And so we had to make sure that these motherfuckers didn't kill each other whenever we had big crew meetings. It was wild, dude.
Yeah,
I'm not kidding.
That was the issue for us because I was like underboss of BTB, and as we had different responsibilities. One of my responsibilities was to fucking weed out the niggas that turned game banger. So a lot of motherfuckers turned game like Demon and fucking Agent and all that did turn King, and then who and all them they were like 2-6 or whatever. But here's the thing, I had to find it out because they didn't want to tell me. Like, motherfucker, I'm from the hood. I'm gonna know what you're doing. I'd be like, hey, you can't be writing BTB and banging. Hey, bro, there was a dude in BTB that looked like a fucking Sasquatch, bro, like for Bigfoot, bro. I was like, what the fuck? This guy, he didn't talk English and shit. The guy was from Argentina. I know, who the fuck is this guy? This guy don't even look human. This motherfucker's a Neanderthal and shit. I had to figure shit out like that, bro.
No, it was one of those things like when we grew up in the neighborhood together, you know what I'm saying? I grew up with bishops, you know what I'm saying? I grew up with counts. And then guys in the other neighborhoods, they grew up with counts. They grew up with disciples. They grew up with 2-6. They grew up since kindergarten together. Those guys like doing graffiti too, you know what I'm saying? And it was cool. Like they didn't care, you know what I'm saying? Like the gangs didn't care that those guys were TDM and shit like that. They just did graffiti on their own thing. So we had to like really let each other know, like, hey, look, we got a D. over there in the Western branch, and we got a Count on the 35th Street branch. You know what I'm saying? And we got a Bishop on the in the Pilsen branch. So like, I'm just letting you know that when we're with crew, none of that gang shit matters. Like you got to leave the gang shit outside of the crew, and they did,
Yeah,
man. Like you know what I'm saying? They fought together too, like against other motherfuckers with us. So that was something that was pretty fucking dope. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. I mean, you would remember because that was your time when tag banging after NWA. A lot of people say, "Oh no, there was gangster rap." Nah, I mean, I would listen to Just Ice and fucking when Ice T was hardcore. We would, me, South Ski Minutes would listen to all that shit. And then when NWA came, they bring in a lot of gangbanger lingo and a lot of gangbanger behavior, and then that had an influence and shit. Motherfuckers, hey bro, music does influence writers. They say, oh no, it don't. Yes, it does. You know what I'm saying? It's not like
Yeah,
the
but
motherfuckers are listening to Barry Manilow, They're listening to
you
NWA, and then they get all hyped up. You're drinking, they get all hyped up and start doing goofy shit.
I understand when you said that shit, man.
Chains off their neck.
I had this I had this conversation with my brother, and because my brother's an old school writer from the '80s. His name is Tony
I
Peaks,
mean, you know what
and
tag banging was. You remember that shit, right?
yeah.
Tag banging?
So I had the same conversation you just had with my brother, dude. And like I said, my brother's your age, and he grew up in Pilsen. He was a bomber when he was a shorty. But you know what? The new wave era really affected the '90s hip hop and graffiti crews, bro. The motherfuckers listening to The Cure, to Depeche Mode, to
Yeah.
Erasure, to anything
I was
Bob.
big time new wave in those days, bro. I used to
Yeah,
go to the
that
Cruisers, the
affected it.
Exit, all that place. That was my. That
It
was,
changed. It changed it a bit. Like I know you're talking about the 90, 91, 92 Little Village BTB listening to NWA, listening to shit like
yeah.
that. But then you had
No,
like
when
you had other
gangster rap
cats,
took over, they changed their attitude.
yeah, and you had other cats that are still listening to Erasure and shit, cruising around, listening to
Yeah, I mean,
freaking The
I
Cure.
mean,
You know?
in the '80s, I was going to the concerts by the Metro and fucking the Ginger Man out there, and I would listen to the Smashing Pumpkins when they were not famous, bro. And then we would go see the Circle Jerks and the Violent Femmes, Rascal from IC8. By the way, the real IC8, the ice pack that we created, there's a bozo out there acting like a fucking jerk
Yeah,
who
I
got
seen
some
that.
who got a
I
crew
seen that.
who got a recruit
Yeah,
for 20 years to believe that he made ice pack. What a fucking jerk.
yeah. No,
Anyway,
you went at him a
the thing
little
is
bit,
though,
didn't you? Like a month ago or something, right? You talked to him?
I don't talk to this punk, bro. I'll whip his
Yeah.
fucking ass, bro. I mean, I seen him at the meeting of Styles. We were undercover, and I was just watching his behavior. And this guy, he's just one of many people that have this really bad thing that corrupts graffiti, bro. And I want to ask you some questions about this because sometimes I think it's just my fucking mind. But the thing is, bro, is like, listen, bro, I got nothing against gay birds, bro. Like guys that be sucking each other's wiener. But
I
let's start laughing.
like the way you put that.
Oh, am I, what I can't say that. Nah. So
No, you can
no,
say
I
that.
don't like good
That
gay
was
people.
politically
But what I'm
correct.
trying to say,
Man.
look at, and I'm gonna ask you this, bro. I'm gonna ask you a question, okay? Um, what the fuck is going on, bro? There's writers that shit, man. I start laughing back. God, why am I
Well,
trying
you
to look
know,
for a politically correct way to say
uh,
it? They're weak
go ahead, go
fucking
ahead.
recruits, you know. Like all the writers now, these motherfuckers are fruity as fuck, bro. I mean, I kind of put a tax on that shit because it hurts graffiti culture, bro. Look at bro nowadays. Like if you say something, I want to give like a fucking example, bro. I'll give an example of something. It's like their goal is not to be all city, not to be king of the line. Their goal is to be a gallery star. I'm not, hey, bro. I'm not playing games with you. I'm fucking
No,
serious, bro.
I
For
get
like
it.
20 years, 20 fucking years at least. It's like, oh, I want to be a gallery. I want my name in lights with a dick,
Yeah, I get it.
with a dick
It
by
doesn't
it.
necessarily mean that they're sucking wieners. There's a lot to it. It is this era. graffiti is, and Pilsen has a lot to do with it, dude. And I'll tell you why Pilsen has a lot to do with
What
it.
I'm asking
Once
you,
Pilsen started,
what I'm asking you
I,
is
I
graffiti getting soft, bro.
well, it's
It's getting soft.
this era is soft. And so anybody in this era that does graffiti is going to naturally be soft. And I'm sorry, hey, anyone listening to this right now, if you were born in the 2000s, 9 times out of 10, you may have looked at a wiener and thought of sucking it. I'm not saying you did, but you probably thought about it. But either way, I don't think it has anything to do with in terms with like they want to be gallery stars. I think it's the route that the art of graffiti had gone after the gentrification of Pilsen. Listen, I grew up in Pilsen. I'm from 18th and Wood, from Harrison Park, right? I used to watch trolleys take white people down 18th Street in a trolley and show them the neighborhood like it was a museum of art. They used to get out and look at like the pieces on the side of like La Huerta or Guzman. You know what I'm saying? And like take pictures and pose next to all the nice, beautiful art that our Chicanos would do in Pilsen, right? And then
Right.
eventually they slowly started moving in, right? So then what happened was they started making Pilsen the art, cultural, ethnic fucking capital of Chicago, right? Like the main fucking place where art is like, you know what I'm saying? And then so these younger generation growing up, they were seeing that every day. They're like, oh, it's art. It belongs in a museum. Because now they got a hip hop museum where graffiti artists got their shit on canvases in the hip hop museum. So we kind of did that. We allowed it. We allowed it. You
Well, you know
know what I'm
what? I'm gonna
saying?
tell you something. It's allowed now because it's big. That's the norm. The motherfuckers put a norm. Now I can tell you firsthand how detrimental that shit is to graffiti, the raw graffiti. When I was Ice, on the cusp of 1988, 89, and Ice Pack, when I made up the name Ice Pack, and later on I got Maniacal 3 and then got some good brothers from camp in the crew. You got to understand what the motherfucker stood for. It was IC8. It was inner city, and the 8 was an acronym. It was basically it goes like this, bro. Experts in graffiti's hardcore techniques. So let's look at the word hardcore. So in other words, we were already committed to hardcore. And every motherfucker that was Ice was committed to hardcore graffiti, and we could prove it. So you could see all the pieces that I showed you that were Ice are all illegal shit. Now check it out, bro. Some woman from the Art Institute came in and did a Yoko Ono on fucking Ice Pack, and what she did was she was a lot older than us. She was probably 8 years older than us, and we're still at the cusp of our teens, like 19. And then she got with this one guy, whatever. But the point is that she brought her the idea of, oh, look, I can make you a real artist. Now I'm gonna pay attention to what I'm gonna tell you here, bro. That theme fucked up first of all, fucked up my crew, our crew. And then we had to save Ice and bring it back to the BTB while some clown started writing it, behind our back. And later on we found out he was doing it and we had to stop his ass. But here's the thing though. I'm talking about what it did to all of the city, what that theme of artsy fartsy did to the city. Look, there's a movie, bro, that came out about the Radiant Child. Oh, the Radiant Child. Hey, bro, I don't dig this guy's art. I'm not fucking with you at all. Jean-Michel Biscuit, whatever the fuck his face is. They go, why you diss him?
Jean-Michel Basquiat.
You know why I diss him? That motherfucker was whack, bro. He came out, he had good styles as a graffiti artist. He did. And then this motherfucker worshiped Andy Warhol. Then what happened is he got with Andy Warhol and he started doing shit that he thought other people would like, the artsy fartsy shit. And then he made his money with that. Look at the only reason why he made all that money, like I told this
He was a booty soldier, dude. Because he was a booty soldier for Andy Warhol, dude. Everybody knows that.
I was talking to a guy who goes to me, hey, that this Michael John Biscuit head, whatever, is a better artist than Frank Fanzetta. I go, you better pick up your skirt, motherfucker, because I'm gonna tell you right now, that's bullshit. He goes, it's because he sold canvases for more. I go, look at compare Frank Fanzetta. Don't even fuck around with me, bro. Compare Frank Fanzetta. That's the fucking god of fantasy art. The Brooklyn motherfucker out there from New York and shit. Compare him to the work that this Radiant Child motherfucker did. And don't you dare lie to me, bro. That's fucking laughable. It's not even comparable.
What do they say about art?
You shit your pants laughing, bro.
What do they say about art? Art is what what do they call art? They say so. Everybody has their own choice or taste in
Art,
art.
the beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But
Yeah,
listen,
like
bro,
everyone has their taste.
this is
Like
the
I don't know.
problem with this generation, bro. Look at, I don't respect when I talk to Johnsky or Noam, or I talk to like, look at Rome. Rome, you know the guy that you're gonna put on a podcast. This
Yeah.
motherfucker does styles, bro. He does.
Oh, he's
You can
fucking.
see
He's
you can
master.
see
He's a
he got
master, bro.
skill. He
Yeah.
has skill, bro. You can see he does different styles and all that shit. He ain't even giving the credit enough the credit he deserves because he does different styles. He got skills. Johnsky is just fucking out of this fucking world with skill. Noam is like that. All the, that guy Goya and all that. They're fucking badass skillful artists, bro. Now I'm gonna tell you something. There's something wrong in the city if you get a guy that does 2 or 3 lines on a canvas and then says he's better than Chicago graffiti artists like the people I mentioned. It's fucking laughable. And what it has to do is about art that does not require skill. So you see these motherfuckers doing artwork that doesn't require skill. And they go, oh no, it's about expression. You know what? You can show expression by sucking a dick somewhere because I'm going to tell you something straight up. That shit's whack. And that's what a lot of this new generation does. The new generation doesn't want to point it out. Hey, motherfucker, there's whack motherfuckers here, bro. There's whack niggas here, bro. So like, it's like everybody's scared to just say the fucking truth. Listen, this is why a lot of old school motherfuckers don't like me, bro. I tell you right now, they don't. I'm not invited to old school parties because they know my ass, bro. I don't put up with that fucking, I didn't even get into it, bro. In other words, I'm not gonna play pussy, bro. So what it is there's when you're an old school writer, when you're old school, you don't have to be good like so fucking badass and shit. What it is that but you're obligated to be a certain level of goodness. You got to have some skill. And I see some old school motherfuckers that they piece like my fucking 5-year-old shit. My 5-year-old grandson could beat these motherfuckers, And they're like, oh, I want respect. Oh, I'm a legend. What the fuck are you a legend of doing whack ass pieces? The fuck you talking about, bro? But I'm
and that's what you get though. Like, okay, well, let's say like this. All right, so you say old school. Old school for you is your age, 50, between 50 and 55, maybe, right? Maybe 40, between 45 and 55. That's your old school era, right? For you.
You could just say the first wave of graffiti because everybody was. I mean, besides Sick Nick, Sick Nick is like a hybrid from New York and Chicago. So he's been bombing longer than I think me and the Feds and all that other shit because he's a CTA cat.
I'm the right after you.
That guy you got to get on the podcast. So Sick Nick, that guy will tell you how it is.
We'll get that info. But I'm the era right after you because I'm gonna come back to what you said. Yeah. I'm the era right after you. So your era, so your old schools, your OGs that you would go to a party with, like fucking for you guys, like I said, 45, between 45 and 55, maybe even 60, right? You're saying that if they go hit a wall right now, they're probably, like you said, as shitty as your 5-year-old, right? Well, could it be that they've been bombing their whole fucking life and now they're too old to go bombing and they're starting to piece? Or had they been piecing for 20, 30 years? You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, my era, I was never a piecer. So I'm in my 40s now, and because I'm too old to be jumping off fucking tracks onto a roof to do a rooftop, I'm probably going to resort to piecing just to get my thrills, right? But I'm going to suck at piecing because I've been a bomber my whole life. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? I can answer this real quick. Now, here's a good example about something. I'll give you a real good example. Look at Cyrac, bro. Cyrac, BTB, GAC, all this shit. AOM, boom. Here's the thing with Cyrac. Yeah. Cyrac was a fucking bomber first, bro. And he started piecing. Actually, he's a good piecer. But the thing is, he balanced both of them and he intermingled them. But check this out. I'm going to answer your question about the old school cat. Look at now, if they were old school bombers, they were king of the line bombers, they were Douglas fucking Kings, or they were running fucking, the red line hard or whatever, I could get it. But the motherfuckers I'm talking about, they were just there. So in other words, they were in the graffiti culture, but they weren't affluent bombers or influential bombers or heavy hitting piecers. They were just there. And this is a problem. This is the problem. I don't have a problem seeking them out. That's not it. It's them calling themselves legends or being called legends when they're wackadoodle.
Yeah, I get it.
I'm going to ask you, check this out. Look at me, bro. Look at me. Now, if I go somewhere and I go do a public piece and I do some whack ass fucking shit from the fucking some shit that looks like it was done in that fucking 1983, and somebody goes to me, "Oh yeah, you're a legend," whatever, despite the fact that I did some fucking whack shit that a fucking a 3-year-old girl could do on a fucking wall, and then I walk away. Oh yeah, I'm a legend because I was just there. I'm old school, and then look at my fucking whack ass skills, man. That's wrong, bro. That's wrong. It's not that I'm going after old school motherfuckers like that. I'm not. But what I am doing, and I did do it, bro. I did do it one time. The BK wall, bro, on 27th. I invited some cats from. I ain't gonna say who they are because I don't want to bring up names. I can't bring up. But I got some good mid gens, mid generation writers, and they were doing some nice work. There's one guy does fucking nice work, bro. He was doing some shit in the front of the BK. And what happened is an old school guy came from the north side, and he was like he was like supervision, like looking at him, and he was telling him, step back, look how it looks. Are you sure you got it in perspective? Whatever. And I started getting mad, bro. I started getting mad. I ain't gonna fuck with you, bro. I started getting mad because I know this motherfucker ain't got no skills, bro. And he's telling this young cat, oh well, you got to do this, you got to do that. So I'm being quiet for like an hour, being quiet, and then finally he does something that flips my fucking lid, bro. He goes over there and he puts some old school ass shines, fucking like 1980s. This guy had a bad, he had some dope shit. I got to not to laugh, bro. The guy had some bad shit, and this fucking old school motherfucker put in 1983 Beat Street shines. I go, man, get the fuck out of I couldn't hold back, bro. I couldn't do it. I go, hey man, stop fucking with this guy's piece, man. Go over there, go home and eat your fucking soup, bitch.
It's one of those things. For example, you know who Ojos is? TDM Ojos?
Well, I heard of him. I seen him up, yeah.
He'll be heading out here pretty soon to paint with me. So I don't know if I told you this. I'm starting a clothing line, a graffiti clothing line in Romania. So I'm like literally starting there right now, and I got Ojos on board. So we're going to be working together on creating designs for clothing overseas. But so he's going to come, and we're talking the other day. I'm like, look, man. He said, first of all, he's going to bring me caps, like real caps from Chicago. But I'm like, dude, I haven't painted, like really got down, So, dude, Ojos is my shorty. You know what I'm saying? He's younger generation TDM. I'm gonna need him to get me up to speed on what's hot, like new techniques. You know what I'm saying? New shit that I don't know how to do. There's cats I never even seen before. You know what I'm saying? That I want to learn how to use it. So I got him coming out. I'm old. But I'm going to have him come out, and I told him, dude, I'm going to need you to keep, get me up to speed and show me all the new stuff. You know what I'm saying? And it's okay. Like, that's fine. But if you got a motherfucker there that don't know all the new stuff and he's not up to speed, standing behind you saying, that would be like me. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, man, you got to fucking stand on there a little bit.
Like I use a lot. I don't have my pieces are with stock caps, bro. And this is another thing that I'm really. I'm like
that's what we have in common, dude.
And the reason why
we have in common.
Look, I got a theory. A lot of people misunderstand this, bro. If you look at the hip hop culture, you got the 4 elements, and 2 of those elements were interrupted in their natural evolution. That was DJing and graffiti. So DJing got interrupted. Their natural evolution of it got interrupted by technologies. They let go of techniques and they let go of Geminis. And what they did is they started bringing beatboxes, and then they started doing all kind of goofy shit, bringing CD mixers. And then worst of the worst was a digital shit, like when Bobby D did all those edit crazy tapes and all that. Here's the thing. It fucked up DJing, bro. And people go, oh, no, yes, it did. Stop fucking around. And with graffiti, here's the thing. Now, everybody knows this in Chicago. Every motherfucking writer knows this. That we all used to fucking fuck with the caps. We made our own neat caps. We made our own caps. We each had a fucking craft of how to make.
We made our own. Caps. We made our own fucking grip and markers, everything.
Cans. What is it? Reduced pressure cans, and all these neat caps came. Technology fucked up the natural evolution of graffiti, not only for Chicago but for the whole fucking world, bro. So how would graffiti look without all that? All that shit that was made.
Well, listen, there would have never been there wouldn't be caps for sale if it wasn't for us. back then, fucking making caps, melting fucking needles. You know what I'm saying?
That's what
There
it was.
wouldn't be
A
caps
lot of
unless it
times
was
they
off.
just basically bit off of us, bro. Like we made
Yeah,
those shirts before
that's
we made them
because you.
by hand. We free-handed them.
We did everything by hand. So, and I learned it from my brother. You know what I'm saying? But I was in the army. You know, I was in the army. I'm retired from the U.S. Army, and
Yeah.
so my era in the U.S. Army was the boot shining era. To shine your boots and iron your BDUs. The green fatigues. That was my
Right.
era. So that era went away. So soldiers don't have to iron their uniforms anymore or shine their boots. So like I always compared my era in the army where I used to have to wake up every day, shine my boots, iron my uniform, and and shave my face and go to work looking sharp. It's like that was the same era for graffiti where I couldn't go to the store and buy casts. I had to make my casts. I couldn't go to the store and buy fucking big ass fucking Magnum markers. I had to make my markers with a sock, with ink, with a fucking deodorant roll. You know what I'm saying? I had to make my shit. You know what I'm saying? And now the kids, they got it all given to them, man. They can fucking do anything with the amount of technology there is for graffiti now. I see motherfuckers that got a cat that has 3 nozzles on it doing, you know what I'm saying? Like, what
Yeah.
the fuck? They got so much shit now. It's like almost hard not to be fucking good.
It's like I was doing because I do these stock caps exhibitions, right? Well, what I did during one of those exhibitions, I got a can of iron lac, bro. And what I did is I got a good distance from the wall, like a mediocre distance. And what I did was I sprayed one spot to see how long it would take to get a drip. It took fucking 7 seconds, bro. That's crazy. Then with a regular can of Rust-Oleum, it was like the first second was, it was like motherfuckers
Yeah,
when you first fuck, they bust a nut right
you know
away.
I paint. You know I paint with factory caps, right? On purpose.
Yeah.
Everything I do is with factory caps.
I mean,
I've been doing this shit for
I'm
years.
not saying because people get mad at me when I say
No,
this shit.
I only
I'm
do
not
it.
saying
I
people
don't do
should
it
do
because
that. I'm saying there's certain people who should keep the tradition alive. That's what I'm trying to say.
No, that's why I do it. I do it just to bust balls. I'll do a burner. I'll fucking, you know what I'm saying? I'll do a filling, just regular ass one liner filling, and I'll put in. This is a factory cap. I don't use, and
I
I
mean,
use factory caps
I wonder what you
on
think about
purpose.
it. You think
To
that's
fuck with
like a
people.
big part of commercialization of graffiti, or what? Like,
Yeah,
you think that that's
absolutely.
part of the commercialization of graffiti?
Absolutely.
Because
The
you see all these
commercializing
trends,
graffiti.
you
Yeah.
see like it's like graffiti used to be the bad guy. Graffiti used to be, oh my god, it was a bad thing. Now it's all happy and fucking gay and happy.
Yeah, I mean,
And they
it's
use
the same thing.
graffiti
I
like,
mean,
oh, it's a great thing now.
the law wants these bombers as graffiti artists, whatever they are, we call them now. I don't even know what graffiti artists call themselves now. They want these taggers to go to
Break
the
in
museum.
muralists.
They want them to paint on canvases. They want them to go paint on permission walls. They don't want them fucking walking the blue line tracks in the middle of the night, jumping on roofs. So they like the transition of the commercialized graffiti sector where kids nowadays they're going to buy the fucking most expensive can of Montana. They're going to get the best caps on the market, and that's what they're starting with. They're starting with the best shit, and they don't want to fucking do the work. You stay up all night, fucking walk the street, jump on a fucking, jump on the tracks, jump on a roof, climb up a fucking building, climb up a fucking tower. They don't want to do that work. It's easier for them to get all the best shit they got, stay on fucking Instagram all day, idolizing all the real bombers out there, looking at all their work, drawing whatever the fuck they can bite off of, and then right away they go hit the fucking permission wall with all the best stuff right off the bat. They go to a permission wall and start working it, and they want to be in.
The thing is it because it's kind of like, there's a big ethical change in graffiti. It's like 180 degrees change, bro. Because now people, they're very, very proud to say, oh, well, I just got commissioned to do my graffiti. I'm a spray can muralist, and I just got commissioned to do 3 walls by the city and all that. I'm not even fucking kidding. This happened to me the day before yesterday. The day before yesterday, I was looking at a piece by Archer. The guy goes, oh, well, I got commissioned, sponsored to do 3 murals, graffiti murals, and I'm really happy to get my professional. Listen, bro, back in the days, we would have just laughed we would have laughed our asses off, bro, because that's
understand.
bro. If you
I understand some of it.
Bro, look
I understand some of it. Like fucking my brother Worm, man, he put in his fucking work. You know what I'm saying? Donnie's fucking been bombing for 30 plus years. You were on the scene with him. I was on the scene with him. You know what I'm saying? And now he's doing great things. He's doing lots of permissions, amazing work. He's got murals. He's selling art. That's the way it should be. That's why I want to see OGs in the graffiti game going to where, yeah, they're not out bombing no more, but he still fucking goes out bombing, which is crazy because he's, I think he's like 2 or 3 years older than me. And he's still bombing. But I mean, that's where that transition should be. I should see a 45-year-old, bomber that started in the 90s, going hard. And now he's of age where he's got skill. His skill should be worth something. And he put his time in and he deserves credit. So now at this point, he should be able to get as many permission walls as he wants. He should be in a museum. He should have his art sold online for hundreds or thousands of dollars. He should have a fucking deal
All right,
with
hold on
you know
about
what I'm saying?
something. You're bringing up a lot of points that I want to take up on. But I'm going to be clear. I'm going to bring some fucking examples about something. Listen,
All right.
a lot of these fucking guys, look, I'm going to bring me and Design and some other guy as examples of how we do shit. Not to say that we're right or wrong, but this is something to pay attention to, bro. I work for Time Warner. I also work for Legendary Pictures and all this other shit. But I do concept art. I do books. I do writing. I do stuff. But here's the deal. Here's what it is. Here's the fucking kicker. I don't use graffiti to do my professional arts or commercial shit. What happened is that when you want to do art and get paid for it, here's the key. Learn how to do something other than graffiti, motherfucker. Learn how to draw stuff more than letters. Look at Design, bro. Some guy told me the other day, Design from Aerosol Crew, Carlos Rolling, that he goes to me, he goes, oh, well, that guy was a sellout, bro. This motherfucker's talking shit about my boy Design. He's a sellout, whatever. I'm going to say, shut the fuck up, bro. I told this guy, you know what? You should stick your sock right in your asshole, bro, because here's the deal. Design, go look what the shit that Design does. He got his own form of art, bro, his contemporary art. You may not like it or whatever, but it is his, bro. He does contemporary art. He does shows. He does a lot of artsy-fartsy stuff, but he does a lot of cool stuff too. And the thing is, he's not using graffiti. He's not exploiting graffiti, okay? Like that motherfucker, John Michael Biscuit, that guy, he used the title of graffiti.
Guy, man.
Design did it the right way.
Fucking on cock and heroin? Like, didn't he fucking die a long time ago? John Pasqua, whatever?
Yeah, but I'm saying that he did it the wrong way. He was
He was from Harlem, right?
Who?
Pasqua, the guy, the artist that used to blow Andy Warhol.
Yeah, bro. I mean, he used to write Samo, though. He was a real graffiti artist.
No,
then when he later on, he started doing artsy shit that required.
That was the beat that New York should have had, bro. Like, that was the beat that New York artists should have had. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the shit that Dondi and Scene and them should have been like, who the fuck is this motherfucker? He's not even a dope bomber. He's not even, you know what I'm saying? Like,
bro, he got his ass kicked by some writers in New York. They even show that in the movie. But here's the thing: people watch that movie and they go, "Oh, I want to listen." I don't got much problem with Bansky because Bansky was always a stencil artist.
But there's a movie about what movie are you talking about? What movie are you talking about? What movie are you talking about?
I'm not talking about the documentary. I'm talking about the movie with this motherfucker that played. I mean, he's a good actor. David Bowie played Andy Warhol in it. Anyway, that movie influenced a lot of writers.
It came out in the 90s?
I don't know. Yeah, it was 2000s. But it influenced a lot of writers. And so, in other words, instead of having, listen, let me get to the point that I almost forgot. Look at Carlos Design, he did it the right way. He got money and he made a success. He didn't exploit graffiti. He made up his own art and he deserves credit for it. When I started buying properties and all that other shit, my thing was that I never used graffiti to make money for that type of stuff. What I did was I learned how to draw other things, learned anatomy, learned how to draw people, animals, backgrounds, all that, and I made money, and then I learned how to write. And that's what happened.
But now
my commercial success is separate from graffiti. It's because I want graffiti to be pure. Not right now, it's graffiti right now. People are there. It's faggoty, bro.
I guess it's faggoty because it's hot.
Check it out.
It's hot.
It's
If
weak, bro. A
if
lot
you're
of
gonna make money off of it, you're gonna make money off of it, Riddle. Especially if you're an OG man and you've been in the game for fucking
I
30
wouldn't do that
years.
because I don't believe in that
Bombing.
gay shit, bro. I don't believe in that,
Well,
bro. If a person look at, bro, look at Scene from New York. This guy got his tattoo shop going. Yeah, because he's a graffiti artist. What I'm talking about is motherfuckers. I'm gonna be real specific, real specific. These dozens and dozens and dozens of Chicago writers that want to be fucking famous doing galleries using graffiti and doing galleries. I told motherfuckers before, I go, all that shit is bullshit. You know, the galleries pay people by commission about what they sell. I see people lying their asses off, bro, lying and lying and lying, saying that, oh, I'm a successful graffiti gallerist. In other words, they make money in galleries on, selling canvases for thousands of dollars that were graffiti. Fuck you. First of all,
but,
they sell
but if
things by
someone's,
they sell things
Riddle,
by
if someone's
commission.
gonna buy it though, dude. If somebody's
Some
watching
people
the
buy it,
Riddle,
but they
let me ask
don't
you a
make
question.
stable enough money to go buy properties, a house,
I I get
and
it,
have
but
it. Feel me?
let me tell you this. If someone watches this podcast tomorrow, and right now I like to see all of your art behind your head right now. If somebody's watching this and they're an artsy person and they like putting art in their house and they're those type of people, and they're like, let me send this guy Riddle a message and tell him I like that piece behind him, I would buy it from him. I will give them $2,000 for it. You're telling me you wouldn't give them one of those pictures behind your head that they want in a frame in their house for $2,000?
Now check this out. I'm glad you brought that shit up because you brought this up because something like that happened. So behind the reason why I have this stuff on my room, you know why I have this up? This is the stuff this is what BTB taught people like Johnsky and Noam. So I put that up so that I can see the mistakes. I'm not putting that up proudly. I put it up where I can see the fuck ups when I draw an arm that's too long or some goofy shit where the eyes are not set and all that. What I do is I put that up. So this is the wall of shame, bro. That's what that is. What's behind me is the wall of shame. And I do this so that I can't forget that I'm doing stupid fucking shit.
So
And I
you
need to
sell any of those pieces.
I need to make sure that I fix it. So when
So
BTB
you
teaches people, we say keep your shit up and learn from your mistakes. Post up the stuff that is imperfect where you can see the imperfections. Now,
so but you want to sell one of those
some
pieces
guy
now?
offered me some money, but not 2,000. He offered me, I think it was $200, I think. And I said, no, it's because I don't want to give out shit that's imperfect and have, I don't want to have like a lot of when I would do pieces, like some of the eyes are a little bit offset. I don't like that shit, bro. Or the hands. I got a bad problem with hands. You could judge a person, you could judge an artist by the way they draw
How they
hands.
do hands.
But
Yeah, of
look
course.
at the way I draw hands, and look at the way Johnsky draws hands. Johnsky draws hands very well. You can see his level of artistic prowess is greater than mine, even though I'm older than him. He has a better natural skill set. And see, this is the kind of stuff that if you want to be an artist, you got to admit to yourself. You can't be, oh, a lot of motherfuckers don't have that mentality. They're like, oh, fuck that. They make up excuses. Oh, it's because he did this or because they did that or whatever. Look at Slang, bro. The Slang, I never met Slang, not once. I talked to him before. We've been contemporaries because it was like when they did the Midwest Masters piece, I went to the Hall of Fame and the paint that they did was still wet. Put it that way. So in other words, I got there right after they got there, and I'm gonna tell you something. The reason why I like Slang or I like Johnsky or I like Pango's art is because of their genuine skill, bro. They got really undeniable skill. That means if you could have these popular guys, these real popular guys that do a bunch of shit and get celebrated for doing, oh, he's a fantastic
Yeah, I like
expressive
it.
artist.
Pango
And when
starts
they
making
battle somebody
canvases and
like
starts
Sting or
selling them.
Johnsky or Pango, they're gonna get fucked up.
Johnson starts making canvases, starts selling them. You're gonna judge him for it.
Say what?
If Pango or Johnsky, let's say Pango or Johnsky or Design or G Tech or fucking, you know what I'm saying? Any temper, if they start making canvases now, would
No,
you judge them for it?
no. This is what it is. I'm gonna tell you what the difference is. Okay, so I want to give you an example. I'm gonna be real specific about it, so there's no mistake. Look at like what you just said. Any graffiti artist who does graffiti genuinely and their heart is in it, and they sell the canvas, that's fine. But here's the thing. Here's where I say you're full of shit. This is what it is. We got graffiti artists that are not doing that. What they're doing is they're doing one tag on a canvas, and then they put like some drips and some sprays and try to make it look all abstract. Oh, I'm minimalist. I'm
No, yeah,
abstract.
there's always
So
gonna
here's
be
the deal.
that.
Hold on. Here's the deal. What's the difference? What's the difference? It doesn't require skill. It does not require
No,
skill. So they put all this junk, this toy shit, because it is toy shit.
that's
They
always
put
gonna
toy shit
exist
on the
though.
canvas and they sell it. They want $1,000 for some toy shit. That's pussy shit, bro. Yeah,
Well,
then you would be a sellout and an asshole, bro.
look at my situation right now. I'm creating a graffiti clothing line in Bucharest, Romania, with another Chicago graffiti artist, Ojos. Like it's basically the same thing. My canvas is closed, but I'm using embroidery and I'm using press and shit like that. I'm not using spray paint or canvas, but I'm creating a graffiti line in Romania. It's kind of the same shit.
Look at that. That's fine. Look at
You know what I'm
Pango.
saying?
Hold on. I seen canvases from Pango and stuff from the feds that they sold. That's beautiful. That's the way you're supposed to do it. What I'm talking about is I'm talking about graffiti artists
Talking about the
that are
toys, and I
hold
see
up, hold
that.
up, hold up. This is important, bro. I'm talking about graffiti artists that are playing some pussy shit, and what they're doing is doing a couple lines on a canvas, and doing one tag, and then trying to sell it. They know damn well it doesn't require skill, and they want to sell it for $1,000. What do you think about that?
I know it's fucking garbage. That's what I said. I said these kids they got all this fucking brand new technology. They could do a couple fill-ins, learn how to use the cap, learn how to use the fucking nice cans, and they can go straight to canvas. They can go straight to canvas without putting in any work. They didn't have to do any work. They didn't have to become the king of the line. They didn't have to fucking become their neighborhood dopest bomber, the all city bomber. They didn't have to do anything. They just learned how to use the caps properly. They got the best scans. You know what I'm saying? And they're the best biters probably. They're good artists, but they know how to bite. And they can go straight to canvas and start selling. But they didn't do any work in the street. That's what I said. Like I'm talking about guys who did work, guys that had 30 plus years on the streets bombing. I think they should fucking make a canvas and be able to sell it for $2,000. They earned it. They deserve it. They're
No,
artists. You know what I'm
okay.
saying?
If they do graffiti, check this out. Like what you said, if they do a canvas or anything they do, and they put in their hard work, and they put and it requires skill, it's fantastic. That's the way it should be. I'm talking about people doing stupid shit, 2 or 3 lines, or so-called abstract minimalist stuff,
I
stuff
know,
that
but
requires no skill,
that's
and then
gonna
asking for a
always
thousand
happen,
dollars.
dude.
That's bullshit, bro. I don't give a
That's
fuck.
gonna always happen, dude. That's gonna happen no matter
That,
what. That
that,
happens in
that's
every
pointless,
every
bro.
sector.
It's fake. It's fake art, bro. Listen, bro. I was talking the other day. This is gonna make your ass laugh, bro. But it's the fucking truth, bro. A lot of writers in the new day, in the new age, the new age writers, they're fucking fruity, bro. They're fucking. They walk around. They even walk different, bro. Like something's wrong with the walk, bro. I don't know what it is. We used to call that patito back in the days. But check it out.
Mm.
I talked to Sal. Sal goes to me, look at, we should make some money off of these fucking writers. These writers, they make their own money by doing all these little businesses and canvases. Oh, we have a gala. We have a gala. What the fuck is that? So they have a gala show. Oh my god. So Sasky goes to me. He goes like this. He goes, let's make some money off these fucking fruity ass writers. We should do dildos of graffiti. Just like the fucking big fucking dildo with graffiti on it and sell it to these fucking fruits.
But you know what? That's funny. Well, dude, you can't tell me in the '90s there wasn't crews and there wasn't graffiti artists that you thought the same thing about, dude. There's a number of crews that I was like, what the fuck? I'm not gonna name the crews, but there's a couple crews that these guys were all plucking their eyebrows. They all had earrings in their eyes. They had earrings in they had lip rings. They had tongue rings. They were dressing real fruity, real sus, man, real suspect. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of crews like that.
Hold up. I think maybe you got the wrong impression of me, bro. Look, back in the days, I never did fucking wear eyeliner or any of that gay ass shit. but I was definitely a hardcore goth. I was a hardcore goth because
You were a
before
goth
hip
guy.
hop,
That's different.
I was, I was partying with all these motherfucking Trace and all them by Medusas, Alcatraz, The
I
Exit,
got it.
all that
You're
stuff
goth.
way
I'm not
before.
talking
But
about
check
goth
this out.
guys. I'm talking
Check
about
it out.
pretty boys. The
Yeah, no, we're not pretty
metrosexual
boys like
taggers.
that. We're
The
hardcore goth.
metrosexuals, bro. I'm not talking about the goth guys or the rockeros, because we have rockero bombers. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the pretty boys, the metrosexual guys that never got their clothes dirty, always were buttoned down with collars, always had those little fucking golf hats tilted to the left like this. Remember that? When they used to wear their little hats like that and a little eyebrow ring. Remember those guys, bro? I
Yeah,
fucking, and
I
I'm
gotta
from
tell you,
Pilsen,
bro,
bro. I
how
couldn't
with
walk.
fucking
Yeah.
graffiti.
But
With
that was in the
graffiti,
90s. I
this
thought
is
the
where it
same
breaks.
thing.
It breaks like this, bro. Here's how it goes. So, like in the early 90s, this is really where it happens, bro. In the early 90s, then you got a split of Chicago graffiti. You got motherfuckers that stood on the hardcore side, and then you got people who wanted to be famous artists with the galleries and all that. And when you talk to all these gallery guys, they're from the Art Institute or whatever, and these motherfuckers are flaky. What it is they're gay birds. Look it, bro. I don't got a problem if there's a dude and he's watching a guy working on his porch and he gets all hot and bothered when he takes off his shirt. That's a natural gay motherfucker. He can't help it, bro. Look at it. He can't help it. He can't. But there's another type of gay. These motherfuckers ain't even really gay. They're just perverts, bro. They just want to experiment in any sex.
They're just
They're that
trisexual,
motherfucker.
dude.
Gay
They're just
people love that
trisexual.
shit. That some of these motherfuckers ain't even gay. They just want to have a
Yeah,
they want to
I
have a
don't think
great
they're
sex
gay.
life, bro.
Yeah,
And these
I
guys,
don't think these guys you're
they're
talking about are gay.
these are the fruity art fags, the fruity art fags. You know, these
Yeah.
are the guys that are like, oh, like I told you, oh my God, we're throwing a gala Tuesday, and everybody's gonna wax
Listen.
their
Yeah. Oh, we're getting bad reception.
They want to be famous in the gallery.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, listen, we're gonna end this. We've been out way too long, but dude,
yeah.
that was good. That was a great conversation. Riddle, I love talking to
All
you,
right,
my
man.
brother. That's some good stuff, man. And
Yeah,
listen, we'll do this again. We can try to do this once a month. We got some new shit to talk about. Maybe less gay taggers, but hey, listen,
yeah.
that's good, man.
Like I said, try to get some people on here that like Sick Nick. I think
Yeah.
a lot of people want to see Sick Nick on a podcast or something. Like Sick Nick or Sowski or well, I want to say like Fess or somebody like that with it, where you could kind of see like some of the errors that I talked about. You know what I mean? Where you
Yeah.
can have somebody not so crazy like my ass on here.
Well, I got Rome. I got Rome at 4 a.m. my time, so I gotta wake up at 3:30 in the morning to interview Rome. So I gotta get some sleep here in a minute because it's already late. And me and Rome
Yeah,
are probably gonna have a
Rome's a good
similar
stylist,
conversation.
bro.
Yeah,
He's a very good stylist, bro. That's a good person
yeah.
to have on here, bro.
So
All
we're
right,
getting
man.
it.
Thanks for
So
having me. And like I said,
of
it's all
course,
good.
man. Anytime
Word.
we'll keep in touch, and then once I get this up and rolling and shit, I'll send you a copy. And anything you want me to put or add to it, just send it to me. Send it my way. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop recording, bro. Peace out. Sectors of Fire. Thanks for coming on, my brother.
Right on, bro. Rock and roll, man.
Take care.
You too.